It's certainly true that reoffending rates are too high and that our prisons are too violent, and I acknowledge that. But the wrong way to address that would be to shorten sentences or release offenders early. That would be reckless and it would endanger the public. And it would restrict the freedom of the independent judiciary to choose the most appropriate sentence for each offender. The answer to overcrowding is not to cut prisoner numbers in half. It's to make sure that we've got the right resources, the right workforce, the right buildings and the right regimes to reform offenders and turn their lives around. And that's exactly what I'm doing. It is not true that rates of imprisonment have gone up across the board. And it's also not true that we've seen sentence inflation across the board. We've actually seen fewer shorter sentences handed out for crimes like shoplifting, and there are proportionally fewer people in our prisons for those type of offences. What we have seen is significant increases in sentences in particular areas, and we've seen a much higher number of people going to prison for particular crimes. And in fact, the biggest driver of prison growth in the last 20 years has been the exposure, pursuit and punishment of sexual offences and crimes of violence. The Prison and Courts Bill, which is due to be published this month, will for the first time enshrine in law that reform of offenders is a key purpose of the prison system. That has never been in our law before. At the moment, the duty of the Secretary of State is to house offenders. I don't think that's good enough. We have to be about turning people's lives around.